For this invitation. My family, I'm sure some of you have met Mbida Anzaya. Mbida is working with Kenya Airways, and she leads the development of human resource and making sure that each person has the training that they need in order to perform their job. Then we have an eldest daughter who is 28. She's married to Andrew. We have a son, 26, and a daughter who's 22. So that's my family.
Thank you, Anzaya.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Timothy Mahinda. I'm married to a lady called Anne, who runs Lukenya Getaway. We have 3 children, 24, a girl who's just finished postgraduate something and is back. And then a son who's 22, who's also in university, 3rd year, and another son who's 18 and wants to take a gap year and is trying his hand in business. Yes.
Thank you for that good introduction. Maybe just to kick us off, today we are talking about partnership that inspire and work. Maybe just give us a brief background of how you met, how it all started, and how have you been able to hold together, and where are we right now?
How many years have you known each other?
Right. We've known each other, I would say, 30 years plus.
30
yes. We met before university, and then we've been just seeing each other from afar. We got involved in a project, I think, when was again? About 6 years ago, together with other shareholders in the project. And it was a hospitality project called Sagana Getaway Resort. And we were also shareholders in that project. Now, we watched each other from afar, and we ended up interacting very, very well with Mr. Mahinda and bringing ideas together and just building on top of each other's ideas. So that, together with the friendship, I think we began to see that we work well together. But, it was observing each other over the course of the project. And what was he bringing in? What was I bringing in? How do we go ahead together? So when that project got finished, and we went through very many difficult things in that project. When it got finished, we said, we think we can work together, and we should try and work together. And so after that, we went to the coast in Malindi. We saw a parcel of land. We committed to it. We began thinking about developing beach apartments for sale. Yes.
Wow. Are you guys believers? It's a good question.
Yes, I would say we are believers, sinners saved by grace, by the grace of God. My first recollection of him, I think he forgot. I was, as he said, about 30 years ago. He had found a young girl whom he liked, and he was on a rocking chair just describing her to me, looking at the sky. This girl called me there. I mean, I just thought, I like this guy. He was just pouring his heart. And then later, I think about 13 or so years ago, 15 years ago, I was going through issues. I was running I had an insurance broking firm, and I think I had felt tired. I didn't know what was wrong with me. It had reached a point, it was growing, but I felt like I'm done with this. I had run it for about 8 years. So some American called me and told me they're going hunting in Zambia. And I thought, that sounds like a nice idea. So I just mentioned to him, because we happened to be together, said, would you like to go hunting in Zambia? I mean, it was just a funny idea, but let's try it. He said, oh, yeah, that sounds good. And actually we went. So I thought, he's easy, he's spontaneous. And when we were there, I think after the first day of shooting, I just felt, I'm not quite sure I like this. So we stayed in the forest, just roasting potatoes. I mean, the others were out hunting, we're in some forest in Zambia. It was a very nice time, away from pressure, and just talking. I thought, he loves the Lord, he loves his family. He's also going through 1 or 2 things in business. And so the friendship had started earlier. I think it was just to fill in. Yeah.
That maybe is because the way you are describing is that you knew each other for some time. So is there like an incubation period for friendship before now you think of an investment or a business partner? And then, Major, what might be the main tenets that you have to look into each other for you to have a formidable business partnership?
Partnerships are not easy. I have been in others, 2 others actually, that one of them, a gentleman who I knew for many years. And then he wanted to get into some earth-moving business. And so I gave the money, he gave the time and effort. But after a while, you realize, you think you know someone, but when money comes in, at times, you're not sure who this is anymore. Because I think some money now started being diverted from the partnership, where I could see somebody was doing stuff with money, a lot of stuff, but as far as our business was concerned, it's like we're not making money. So that brought in a lot of, eventually I left, but there's still some money that's owed. In another one, I invested a lot of money. We had agreed that we would both run it, but he went into doing his own thing, and there's still a lot of money owed there. So I'm very uncomfortable about, you may think you know someone, but as you work together and where money is involved, things can change very quickly. So I'm not sure I have the answer. Maybe you might want to answer that one.
I also had a partnership go sour. It was an architectural company, and we decided, let's partner together. We'd been at the university together, we'd been in the ministry together, and so it's like, we can do this together. But they're very different things, to be in fellowship together, to be in ministry together, and to do business. Because it works in ministry does not necessarily mean it will work in business. And so we just went into business together. Then after a while, I realized that we are very, very different in our business styles. And different and you need to be different, but somehow we were not supporting or helping each other. So those differences were not positive differences. And what I realized is that we had no opportunity to observe each other and how we work together. So if you say an incubation period, I would just say, observe each other. How do you work together? And are you able to support one another's ideas and build until it becomes, something that is beyond 1 + 1?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that period is required if there's going to be, no regret to it.
I think let's appreciate them. I like how you're putting this. But Anzaya, I have a brief history about you that, as you're saying, 30 years ago, that's when you guys met. But it's 6 years ago that you began this partnership in the projects that you're undertaking. When I look at it, is that as an architect, you're actually a successful architect. You are a founder of a company called Synthesis, that you run. Bwana Mahinda. He has had interest in the insurance sector, running a brokerage firm, and then transited to the hospitality industry. We all know Lukenya Getaway. I'm sure almost all of us have been to Lukenya Getaway. It's not a small thing. It's a great venture. I'm looking at the two and wondering, you being successful and having your own monies that you've already made, why was it important for you to partner at this level?
I think in business, if things are working well, 2 + 2 is not 4. 2 + 2 can be 50.
Wow, that's tweetable.
It's a good place to clap.
Wow.
So I think what brought us together on this, he has businesses where he gives a lot. Lukenya blesses us, but it takes a lot from me as well. When I go there, I don't relax. If I see a table of people who are not being served well, why aren't they being served well? Why is this wall? Why is a crack here? So I'm not relaxed. I think we were looking for something that we enjoy. And so when this piece of land, I think, had been identified by our senior pastor, then he realized the church was not buying it. He invited a few friends. So I was going to look for an acre there. He was thinking of an acre, but together we thought, I think we can handle more. I mean, as we talked back and forth, we ended up having 5 acres out of that project.
Wow.
And So we realized that the things that it's become a big project. I was just going to do a house for myself to escape to a place to go and run. When Kenya is difficult and the other places, I just go and take a break. But it became more than my house and his house. We thought, let's open it up to friends and a place where we can make a small Hawaii in Kenya. We don't have to go out there.
Wow.
Let's do our thing, do the lobsters, the hammocks, just go and get the breeze in Kenya and enjoy. But it's something that if I had undertaken on my own, it would not have happened. But because of being able to just meet, think together, his strengths, he's a very firm person. So there are things he has that I don't quite seem to have. I'm easy with people. People seem to trust me and like me, but I'm also too easy to make certain things happen. But he is very firm, and but he's also easy and relaxed, trustworthy. So I think together we realized, and there's good chemistry. Just realized when he makes a request on something, it's not something outrageous. So it works well, but we've been able, therefore, to handle a much bigger project than we could have. But this was for ourselves, but made bigger so that others can benefit as well.
If I may just add a word, the thing about this partnership or this particular project, it was the realization of a dream for both of us. Can you imagine owning a beach home? That was just a dream that we had dreamt of, but how do you get it? And so he was excited about that dream. I was excited. Then we realized also that this is a dream that our friends also have. And so that just told us we're meeting a need. We're ministering to our friends if we can also provide this for them. So I think it brings us to a point whereby we feel like we're giving something to our friends whilst they're busy doing the things that they need to do.
Wow, that is great. You, in your earlier engagements, you have already told us about your failures, and actually both of you have had a taste of failure along the way. We were taught here a few weeks ago that failure is success is moving from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So what is it that gives you the power to come back after setback? And just as you have mentioned that sometimes you go into partnership where some people place some cards on top of the table, but hiding the joker, the main one, below the table, just in case to destabilize you. What are the major lessons that you have learned out of this and that has spurred you into now still, after failure now, looking into a mega project you are now considering?
Yes, and realize that cuts across the congregation. There are some of us who are still healing through, we still have those wounds of people we are partnered with and gone through that. And I'm sure there are many here who say they have burned their fingers and decided no more. So let's hear your experience in that. Yes.
I think one of the biggest assets I've found are just spending time with God. Maybe once a week, taking off to a place to go and pray. I normally go to Mwangaza, even if it's for 3 hours. You pray, sing a few songs, sleep under a tree. The Lord has done amazing things through those times. So just making it a habit to go and spend time with the Lord. The idea of Lukenya was born there. When I was just seated there and looking at some trees, it's like I thought it would be nice to have a place you can go and rest. But it hasn't meant that it comes easy. The one thing I have found, even before you talk of partnerships, is dealing with yourself. Something called discouragement. When we started the insurance broking firm, it was so difficult. I mean, I several times tried to run away. I tried going to buy cows and sell them, burnt my fingers, came back to my insurance, tried computers, realized I didn't know, came back. Fighting discouragement is something that is very important. Even in Sagana Getaway, I mean, it took like 7 years before it eventually took off. Yes. So the initial 2 years were very difficult. I was on my own. It stopped raining. The water in the river dried. I needed to grow. The ambience, the forest, the dam, even the elements were hostile against me. But coming back to God and saying, Lord, I thought you gave me peace about this. And I was not able to pray, just slept and wept a little. But that same evening, I think, and had not rained like for 2 years, he sent some rain upriver. The river eventually filled up. And from there, it was moving forward. I mean, challenges, but so learning how to still keep at it even when you're discouraged.
Yes.
I think is a very important when you ask. And then spending time with God, making it a habit even when you don't feel like it is very important.
Anzaya, your experience also. Yes, let's appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't think we should be afraid of partnerships because they may fail, because there's a lot to be learned through that. And sometimes God will allow that to happen. We prayed about this partnership, we've been in fellowship together, I'm sure it will work, and then we find it doesn't work. We've learned something about another side of things. What are your strengths? What do you bring in? We didn't do that evaluation properly. We didn't get somebody else to look at us from the outside. Because sometimes when somebody looks at you from the outside, he'll tell you, I don't think this thing can work. And it's been said before, and then those people have gone into partnership and it's been difficult. So it's like, get somebody from the outside to tell you, about this proposed, partnership. Now, there is a healing process, because after the partnership went apart, there was the dividing of the different clients and projects and monies and so on. Yes. But then the realization is that I can't do it by myself. Mm-hmm. I need another person to help me bring out my best, for us to go further, together. Yes. So, and then also to carry the risk together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you do not want to carry the entire risk together. And then we find that when we're together, any discouragement we're able to sort out, because somebody may be, feeling better, the other one is down, yes. And then there are ideas that come together. So we need partnerships in order to go on. So it's just not saying I will never do partnerships again, yes. But there are very many positive things in partnerships. Yeah.
So when you mentioned that you need to bring in, when you're beginning a partnership, probably you need to get an external person to check out for you. What kind of a person will that be? Will I bring my mother to come and tell me whether it is working, it is going to work? I mean, that sounds to me like you have experts around you or mentors or something, people you trust who can give you an independent opinion.
I think just being on the lookout, because I think in both the situations where I burnt my fingers, someone had told me, actually someone fairly senior and who loves the Lord, who said, I know you, Tim, I know him, I don't see how you'd work together. And when we started working, at times I'd call him and tell him, do you think I'm mad? Am I normal? Because the things he would tell me about myself, I'd wonder, am I okay? The other partner. But I thank God that 7 years later, we are still together. In fact, he feels I'm his best friend. Now, I've written things on my diary that I needed to delete because we're not nice. But the lessons I learned from it have also left me different. Yes. We are still together with him, and I think we have a new respect for each other. It has grown me, because for the longest period, I was, in a sense, leading whatever I was doing, and I was not really answerable. So working with him really humbled me, helped me to see my rough points. We didn't go as far as we could have gone, because of half the energy was forged trying to sort out emotional issues. But the lessons learned were very useful. But maybe if I had listened to the person who had talked to me initially, it would have saved some. But am I unhappy that we did it? No, because I think I've learned a lot. So I'm not sure I'm saying don't do it. But I think learn, and maybe don't let it linger too long. If it's creating a lot of negative energy, just come out of it. So it may not be that you're going to look for someone to tell you. People may just volunteer and just tell you, we're not sure about this. Yes. So be on the lookout. Your wife, your spouse,
thank you.
They have a feeling, they have a seventh sense. And, it's good to listen to that.
And maybe as you talk about this, basically what you're doing right now is quite a mega project. You have gone through hell and high waters, and you are back still on your feet. And going forward, there might be somebody in the congregation thinking, where do I start from? Is there a place for mentorship when it comes to partnership? And where you are right now, do you value, like, maybe just for you guys to leave a legacy? What are your thoughts on now mentoring the next generation, maybe to take from you? and just being family businesses, how has been the experience of family business now that you are bringing your two families together and mentoring? Maybe people in your families look up to you. But then, aside from that, what is the role of mentorship going forward for maybe somebody who's thinking, how do we start?
I think the role of mentorship is important because you are entering something you don't know. But there are other people who've been through and have walked that path and know it. And so it's very important that we look for counsel, we look for mentorship. And I know that I have people around me that I have looked to, I have observed the way they have done their businesses, I've listened to them, talk about them, and I learn, and I'm learning, and I'm learning. It may not be a formal mentorship, but there's one, this person is higher than me, he has been through this, I'm ready to listen to him. So before we go into these things, let's talk to people who've been through them. And we will save ourselves a lot of problems if we can do that. Yeah.
Great.
So we wanted to hear whether you have other young people that you're taking them through such kind of advice.
Well, for me, it's this is not an area of mentorship that I've pursued, but I talk to very many young people who ask me how did it begin, and so on and so forth, and I keep them encouraged. And right now I'm keen on mentoring my own son and, our sons together, in this business. So we involve them, in it because we want them to learn. Yeah.
I've been mentoring young people as well, especially on just on the family front, because I think many people in their 40s begin to hit issues in their marriage. And when that is not working, you can't say you're successful in business. You may be getting money out there, but if at home things are not working well. So I have been helping a couple of people, just cope with their spouses and steer this stage, because most likely they have their own business that I may not be able to really coach them on. But when certain basics are right, like having a right relationship with your spouse and with the Lord, I think other things flow into place. So, yeah.
Thank you. Now I want to drop a question and ask, is it possible really to have money and love God? Is it possible?
And serve God. Because you guys, you are talking about mega project, but at the center of it all is God. You went and rested under a tree and God spoke.
Yes. We hear people praying, in conference places and going out for prayer retreats.
Yeah.
And now there you go and make you money and then
come back and serve in church.
Does that work?
I just think that the goal of pursuing projects is not necessarily, a bottom line is not necessarily to make money. It's to realize a dream, for instance. Yeah? A dream that God has given us. Do you see? So it began with God. He gave the opportunity that matches the dream. So you see, God is the center of it. And so the money can come, the assets can come, and then after that we're saying, we're so thankful, God, that you gave us this opportunity. You got us to realize a dream, and we're realizing the dreams of other people as well. So I see God being the center, of that kind of venture and the proceeds that come from it. And then also it's an opportunity to bless other people with what He has given us. So it's just, we see it all as coming from Him to be able to enjoy it.
And maybe to add on a little, I think one of the things I realized early is that it's not easy to finish this journey. Whether you're in business or, so it just requires you to read the Old Testament and see the kings who finished well. And there are very few. Even the ones who did, David and a few others, Jehoshaphat, they had their issues. But God would say, they did well. But for 95% of them, 98, they didn't finish well. They started strong, they had a lot of wealth, but they didn't finish well. So I think that scares me and has scared me. So when I say sinner saved by grace, I know I'm made of the same material. I'm prone to wander. I can leave God like tomorrow if I'm left to myself. That's why I keep going to say, Lord, you hold me. Don't let me go. Carry me. So business or no business, in fact, I think in business I have seen God's hand more than if I was a missionary. I have 100 employees plus in Lukenya. There are some bad months. How do you pay them? You just come and say, Lord, have mercy, help. Your prayers are not long, but they're intense. and they're genuine.
They make you really spiritual.
You just cry because you're desperate.
Yes.
So I pray that I will have that mentality throughout my life. Money can take you away easily. It brings pride. There are temptations that come. There are women who suddenly think you're very attractive because of your, and maybe things are not very bright at home. So, again, you come back and say, God, have mercy on me. Protect me, carry me, shield me. So I think throughout life, the need to keep crying to God, with money, without money. There are people who've been passing away in the recent past with lots of money. How is their future? If I'm a real investor, am I investing just for the next 30 years? How will that help me? Is it to take my wife to Turkey and a few other places, then I'm gone? Is that true investment? If I'm a true investor, I should be thinking, 100 years from now, will I be getting dividends? 1,000 years from now, where can I invest where I'll be getting dividends? And so I think, having lived with my mom, who passed away last year, she had cancer towards the end, and the people who came to visit, I realized she has a different currency than money. People loved her because of the impact she had had on her. My own father as well. So I just realized, I think my currency is wrong. Money comes to an end. Can I use money to bless? Can I use what I have to invest for eternity? That has been something that has been a lot on my mind, in saying, God, help me finish well. Let me use what I have to invest for eternity.
Great. Now, maybe as we are in the electioneering period right now, you realize that in a way, if you're in business, people are saying, let's do this business after election. Does politics in any way affect or fortify a business engagement? Let me say today, me and Isaiah, we are on different political coalitions today. When we meet, and you might be having dinner, and there's quite a sensitive, juicy story about your candidate on TV. And maybe you throw in a jab and say, wow, we are doing well. Is it in any way, can it bring tension? Can it bring tension into the business environment?
From our names, you can guess that his backyard is Jubilee and my backyard is NASA. But those are things that we don't really dwell on at all. And they don't divide, our relationship. Because we figure that God has brought us together, in the past, we have fellowship, we've done Bible study, we've done applications, we have encouraged one another, we have told one another, hey, if you go that way, it's going to be, something can go wrong, you see. And so we have that history to back our relationship. And so these people up there who are campaigning and we know what their bottom lines are and where they're going, why should that divide us when we've got something that we're doing together?
Wow, that's
and
powerful.
we know that at the end of the day, somebody will be in office, but we'll still need to take care of our corner, And so we just go on, and we even laugh at some of those things. So our hearts are not into I haven't said which party I am in. I just said, given our backgrounds, people would expect that.
Yes.
Your last name betrays you.
But I also find that Mr. Mahinda is very, very balanced in his view of leadership and politics, and looks at it from God's standpoint. Who is the best person, who is the best man, and not necessarily he needs to come from my backyard.
Yes.
So that helps me.
Wow, that's great.
Actually, politics can be very annoying. I feel like they just disrupt work. This year has been very slow in the real estate. Why? Because people are cold. You don't want to buy. You don't want to spend. How are things going to turn out? I just feel, during that politics here, just work hard. Take care of, do your bit and bless the country. But having every 5 years, there's a 1.5 years that's lost because of politicking. I find that very, very,
Thank you. Let's appreciate these gentlemen. I think they have given us a lot of insight, and I think we are running out of time. But I think I want to ask the last two questions as one question. That will be like your closing remarks. Men have been known not to join chamas. Women thrive in that area. And I remember even me, I joined a men chama that we started with psych, but where it ended, I don't know. Can men thrive in chamas? And beside that, I also wanted to find out, so that you just give comfort to somebody in this meeting. When you say you burned your fingers, Bwana Mahinda, how much money did you lose? Just mention to give comfort. I could have lost my 20K and I've never achieved. Please, yes.
All right. In the first one, I think we've been able to sort out. It was at about 20 initially, but now it's down to maybe about 4.
20 in terms of...
20 what?
A million.
Okay, now
it's not a whole. Then the second one, he was meant to have come in with his bit, which he didn't, so I ended up even borrowing. So initially there was 60 that was hanging around there, but...
You're making it sound so petty.
No,
60 hanging around, 60 million.
No. You are too humble. You are too humble.
No. It's I also feel I was not clever in the way I was following my passions,
yes.
And I could see the potential. So it was 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I forgot Lukenya and went into this, and I borrowed and so on. So there was, but now it's picking up, and so whatever we put in, I know in 1 or 2, 3 years I'll be able to get out much more than the 60 I had put in.
Oh man, let's appreciate him, I think, for being honest. Thank you. Anzaya.
Chamas?
Yes.
Chamas, women get together because they enjoy each other. Yeah? Men get together because there's a project to be done. And that's how they connect.
Can we have a Nahu there?
Yeah. And so if there's a project to be done, we gather each other around and, we put money down and we go and we do it. But we just don't spend a whole lot of time fellowshipping and then maybe let's do a chama, then let's do a project. No, we need something to be happening. That's my experience on that. Yeah.
So maybe men's chama, we avoid more fellowship. At least we have a major goal that pulls us together.
You've got to put something on the table. Let's do this. That's when you attract men. Yeah.
Wow. A round of applause for our guest today. I think it's a good insight that has come through. We really appreciate you. Thank you for being vulnerable to us and to tell us that I think somebody has learned something. And we want to wish you well in your venture and pray that as many will sit under your shadow to learn of those great works that you're doing, that you continue to mentor them. Thank you very much.
One last thing before we go that's important.
Yes.
A good name will make you money. A good name will bring you friends, it will bring you investors. And the Bible says in Proverbs 22, a good name
is rather
character, confidence in God, and the ability to deliver on what you have done will make wealth, for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Parting shot, Bwana Mahinda?
No, I think he said it. He said it very well. I totally agree.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us give them a hand of clap as they go down.